cannolis, and welcome to another episode of the Positude Podcast. I'm your host, Maggie Heart, coming to you live this week from my comfy chair and my comfy robe because it is snowing up a winter wonderland outside. Hopefully the White House doesn't have any snow right now. Well, with Hunter Biden being gone, that's probably not an issue anymore. At least I would hope not. There's a whole lot of shaking going on, though, up on the Capitol Hill and in the surrounding areas regarding all of the wasteful spending it's a vast understatement, but the money that was spent by the liberals when Biden was in office is coming out thanks to Elon Musk. And it did come out this week that, it's not bad enough that the Clintons and the Obamas took millions for themselves. They actually put their kids on the USAID payroll. Chelsea Clinton got $3.9 million a year from USAID for some fake program that didn't happen. Her wedding was over $2 million, and she bought this big, beautiful, fancy house with her husband. And Malia Obama got $2.2 million from USAID a year. What could you do with your family with that kind of money? And wouldn't we all want our children to have that sort of money to be able to get started in their lives, especially if they worked all their lives, went to college, got student loans that they had to take out to pay for their college in some cases? I mean, we all want what's best for our children, and we do the best that we can for them, to provide for them when they're young and to help them, give them the values and morals that they need to substantiate them into their adult life and to teach them right from wrong. These people were just handing over, aside from the luxurious lifestyles that they were raised in, they are living exorbitant lifestyles now and had the dream wedding and the beautiful houses. And isn't Malia the one that was accused of, isn't that the tape that was going around? Malia and Hunter Biden in the hotel room doing blow with, there was a music star there, I can't remember which one, but wasn't she the one whose credit card they were using to do lines? How's that feel? Your tax dollars probably went to buy that Coke, if not from Hunter's illegal actions in the Ukraine. They might have come from the money that Malia got from USAID. Our families can't afford to buy groceries and keep their children in clothes and pay for their medical needs, care for their elderly, care for our sick, care for our veterans. But this is the lifestyle these crooks have been leading, and it's starting to come out, and boy, are they upset. They are turning against Elon in a big way and accusing him of not having the authority to do the things that he's doing, and then they're trying to throw the contract that he has with Tesla up there and saying that he's taken advantage of the government. Well, let's listen to this clip.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Elon Musk has apparently somehow convinced the United States government, specifically the United States Department of State, that the taxpayers of the United States of America should spend $400 million buying, quote, armored Tesla production units. Isn't it great and definitely not at all illegal or profoundly corrupt? Definitely not ripping us all off to pay themselves, right?
Donald Trump didn't give that contract to Elon Musk. Joe Biden gave it to him.
So you have Rachel Maddow, one of my least favorite people on the planet, of Fox, getting smacked down by Jesse Waters of Fox. Biden gave Musk that contract. But you see how they try and twist and turn and place the blame, just like we talked about last week, narcissism at its finest in the political arena. Also, Sheryl Crow, we're going to talk about musicians and some silly things they're doing and some maybe valiant things they're doing by exposing some things later in the show. I've got some other clips to play for you. But Sheryl Crow, I used to be a fan of Sheryl Crow. She sold her Tesla and donated the money to the NPR. How brilliant a move was that? She already paid full price for it. And I'm sure when she sold it, she didn't get the money that she paid for it. Or maybe a fair market value, but with depreciation alone, she lost money on the deal. And she decided to sell it to give the money to the NPR. Well, boy, that's really making a statement, right? In my eyes, it's showing how dumb you really are, because you're losing money, and what good is that going to do? How is that going to help you? You bought the Tesla, obviously, because you thought it could perform economically or do what you wanted it to do. And do you really think you're hurting Elon with that little move? He doesn't care. He's got his money. There's just no common sense out there anymore, it seems. Oh well, I guess you'll have to soak up the sun in her Mercedes or something. Just as I predicted with Trump signing the executive orders about there only being two sexes, the LGBTQ whatever movement is going crazy, and there are still protests and riots and public forums going on. The politicians are still trying to get them riled up and using them and blacks as pawns to go against the government, because the people that used to be in charge of the government know that their days are numbered, because all of this fake spending and this exorbitant spending is coming out into the open. And these guys are falling right into their trap again, and they're having their whiny sessions about how they can't flit around in their rainbow costumes anymore and act totally abhorrent in public, and get their genital mutilation stuff and their drugs to turn from one sex into another, paid for by their insurance or by the government, i.e. our tax dollars. So there's a couple of clips I'm going to play for you. The first one is in Worcester. It's at a public, looks like a town meeting where they're absolutely having a meltdown. And the next one is from male wants to be female, complaining about how their gender meds aren't being paid for anymore. And obviously the parents are against this guy, because in the end, he says something about thanks, Mom, or hope you're happy now, Mom. And you can't see it, obviously, but they cut to the parents, a couple, dancing in their kitchen at the fact that their child is no longer to be able to engage in this ridiculous behavior. So let's listen to these.
I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here.
Please.
I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that two of them are trans.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver that I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
I do not want to be here. It's my day off. I do not want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me. I want you to listen to me.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books the Nazis burned books on gender sciences.
So left the pharmacy, and insurance isn't covering medications anymore. Thanks to executive orders that were signed, so I had to pay for them out of my own pocket. And I guess I'm just mostly recording this as an I told you so to certain family members that I warned. And just hope you're happy, Mom.
We don't believe in science. We don't believe in experts. We don't believe in research. We don't believe in data. We believe in conspiracy theories.
With all due respect, Representative, your party can't define what a woman is, so please don't talk to me about science.
Mr. Chair, I respectfully this person's.
So, magic and technology. Do you know the definition of musician? Do you know the definition of magician? This next clip is kind of old. It's from a musician, or a self-proclaimed musician called Suki. And it totally represents how I feel about today's society and the intellectual level, or the lack thereof, that is exhibited on a daily basis. People just seem to have lost all common sense. And as a Gen Xer, as much as I try to maintain my composure, sometimes it tweaks me. This next clip is hysterical because she does not know what a musician is and denies being one, when in fact that's what she is, because she thinks that the interviewer is calling her what in her mind she thinks is a magician.
That's amazing. I didn't know that about you.
What do you know?
That you're a musician. But that's why I'm interviewing you today, so I can get to know you.
So I'm a musician. Mm-hmm. What the fuck that mean? Make magic or something? What is musician?
I think you're confusing that.
Yeah, I'm not no musician. I make music. I make music. And that's not all I do. I make music, I act. I'm a TV star too, a young mogul.
Just really quick, I think you're confusing.
I'm not confusing nothing because you don't know. You thought that all I was a magician or whatever the fuck you said.
See, that's what I think you think I said. No, I said musician, not magician.
I don't think, baby. I don't think. What is that? That's ghetto. I don't think. I know.
So you
think.
I didn't say magician, Suki. I said musician. And I think you are a musician.
No, baby. I do music.
So you, just really quick, for the record, could you say you don't think you're a musician?
I'm not none of that.
But then after that, you just said I do music.
Yeah, I do music.
So, in other words, you're a musician.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Does that not blow your mind? The next clip is from Dan Reynolds, who's the lead singer from Imagine Dragons. He's actually a thinker and has a lot on his conscience he seems to need to be able to unload, as he openly admits that there is an Illuminati and he's a part of it.
The time has come. Just gotta break it quick. Doesn't matter anymore. The Illuminati's real. I'm a member. It's how Imagine Dragons got famous. I'm tired of the politics. This puts me at great risk being this out here and telling you guys this, but I believe in full honesty, and Beyonce is not talking, Chris Martin, nobody's saying a word, so I think myself in serious danger here, but I just want to get as many of these Illuminati names out as I can. Nicolas Cage, Danny DeVito, Reba McEntire, the Olsen twins, John Kerry, Zendaya, the list.
I encourage you to go back and listen to the vocals on the Imagine Dragons songs and see if some of what they sing about makes a little more sense to you now. So Gen Xers, since we're on the subject of music, I wanted to share this clip from the guy that wrote the song SOS by Rihanna. It's not only a testament to what I find pretty unbelievable, but not, that young people particularly will listen to just about anything, whether it's really good music or whether it's relative garbage, in my opinion, and it will become famous and make millions of dollars for these musicians, irregardless of the content. So this guy's video, he wrote the song for SOS, and he literally used as the lines for her lyrics famous 80s song titles. And SOS was very, very popular. Let's listen to this.
I wrote it. I had no idea what I was doing. The whole second verse of that song is 80 song titles strung together as sentences because I thought it would be super clever. Take on me, aha. You know inside you feel it right. Take me on. I could just die up in your arms tonight. I melt with you. You got me head over heels. But boy, you keep me hanging on the way you make me feel. They're all number one songs from the 80s.
That's incredible. I had no idea about
No one
that.
does. No one does.
So a catchy song, but if you listen to the lyrics, all Gen X 80s song titles. While I'm on the Gen X topic, there is a pretty funny comedian, Tammy Pescatelli, who's talking about how when we were young, how we were raised and some of the situations we encountered. The reason that I'm doing this is because I'm trying to get back to the old format where we have some music, comedy, politics, a variety of sorts of things, but also because it gives you an insight into how we lived our lives back then. And we're going to go one step further with that in the next little clip. And I'm going somewhere with this, but we also get some comedic relief in the meantime. So let's listen to Tammy Pescatelli.
We grew up at a different time, so it made us tough, all right? Like, I have a 22-year-old nephew. He said, I joined a fight club. I go, well, first of all, you broke the first rule. What did you join a fight club for? He goes, I wanted to learn how to take a punch. I said, come here. His father's my brother. I know how to give a punch. We used to beat the shit out of each other. How does his kid not know how to take a punch? That's what we did for fun in the car. We didn't have iPads and iPhones. You would beat the shit out of each other on a regular basis if a Volkswagen Beetle went past your car without a headlight. Your little brother got knocked the f*** out.
So there's a whole big movement with this Gen X versus millennials versus Generation Z, baby boomer thing, and social media has absolutely taken hold and gone crazy with it. I love the Gen X stuff because it allows me to be able to revisit my childhood and laugh about the way that we were raised, but also gives me a sense of pride because our generation was tough and still is tough as nails. But what the differences are from then versus now that I see, and I'm sure everybody else that are, people that are older than me and a little bit younger than me can absolutely recognize, is we were self-sufficient. We were truly raised to come in when the streetlights came on. We were left to our own devices much of the time. And we learned to survive. We learned to be self-sufficient. But we were also raised with morals, with values, with manners, and most importantly, common sense. And I think that's why these videos have gone so viral and these Gen X people have become viral that do these channels that specifically talk about Gen X memories. is because it was truly a time, in my opinion, to be proud of. There was no social media. We had direct interaction with other human beings. We played outside and were in nature. And we experimented and we tested ourselves to our physical and mental limits every single day. But most importantly, there was a sense of community, both in my generations and the ones previously, where if there were a group of neighborhood kids and somebody's mom saw somebody doing something wrong, they would shout out and let you know. And we listened to that person's mom, even if it wasn't our parent. We respected our elders. And the moms and dads in the neighborhood and the grandmas looked out for everybody's kids. That sense of community, that sense of bonding, most importantly, the sense of loyalty that we shared with our friends, as well as the generations previous to us. I think that they absolutely had that as well. There was a kindness, there was a compassion. We teased each other, racial slurs all day long. I was called midget, I was called guinea, I was called all sorts of names because of my stature and my heritage. But we did that in a joking manner where nobody took it personally. And while I've talked about that before on my shows, these people now with their cancel culture and all of this, naming, and you have to call me by my pronoun. Thankfully, this is going away in this administration, and it's long past due. But it doesn't account for the fact that the generations that were raised, maybe not the one directly after us, but after that, they've been wussified. They don't have any stamina, but they also are a me culture. So you don't really see the compassion toward your friends and the loyalty. For instance, if one of our friends got into a fight, everybody else would be coming to their aid and to their rescue to defend them. Or if one person was being picked on by a bully, everybody in that group would go and help out that person and protect them. And if somebody was sick, we would have them over to our houses and we would have them stay with us. If they couldn't afford to eat, we would bring them food. When it was lunchtime, it was whoever's house we were at lunchtime, that's the mom that gave everybody the cheese sandwiches or the peanut butter and jelly, or in my case, the pasta. We all took care of each other. That sense of community has gone away. And that's something that we really need to bring back. And I'm hoping that we'll see more of here in the future as we get rid of some of this craziness that's taken hold of the country the past several years. And we were tough. We learned to survive. We did crazy stunts and we picked ourselves up and we scraped off the gravel from our knees and, put some water from the garden hose on our cuts and kept on. I mean, our parents used to tell us, you're not going to the doctor because that's going to cost money. Or, unless you're dead, don't come home and see me for a Band-Aid. That was generally how we rolled. Everybody took care of each other, but we took care of ourselves. As you'll find out in the next clip, this is Kelly Mano who talks about why Trump should bring back JARTs to our country. And even though it's a humorous clip, there's a lot of truth in it. Listen to this.
I have a message for the President of the United States, Donald Trump. And sir, I know you are very busy renaming Gulfs and banning paper straws. But there is one issue that you are gravely overlooking. I speak for all of America when we ask of you, we beg of you, sir, to reverse the 1988 ban on JARTs. Sir, I can give you direct scientific information on how the banning of JARTs in 1988 started the pussification of America. Banning of JARTs represents the first time our country blamed an inanimate object for stupid people's decisions. And ever since then, it's like we're living in this timeline where Biff got his hands on the sports almanac. Once once we banned jarts, we started putting safety labels on things and telling people which end of a chainsaw to hold. We stopped natural selection in its tracks, and now we're stuck with a bunch of stupid people. We used to throw really sharp-weighted objects at each other. And after that, we went down to steel rounded horseshoes. That wasn't soft enough. We had to go to washers. And now here we sit in 2025, throwing bags of corn at each other. If you want to reunite the Republicans and Democrats and make us one again, let us throw jarts. Thank you.
Okay, so that was hysterical, I thought, but the underlining meaning, the pussification of our country, is there or could there be any more truth to her statements? Warning labels on chainsaws and lawnmowers, not to stick your hands in the blades. And she's right, reducing our sports now from horseshoes and lawn jarts and dodgeball to corn bag throwing. It definitely has been a movement to make our kids softer under the guise of being more protective, maybe. I'm not going to say that we didn't live dangerous lives and we didn't do crazy stuff. I can tell you the story of my brothers who used to go out back on our property on a pond, and alcohol may or may have not been involved, where they shot apples with arrows off of the top of each other's heads and played a game with bicycles where they gave my one brother a little bit of a leadway, and then the rest of them would chase him and try and track him down. And the game was called Kill Nick, being my brother. It was all in good fun, though. Nobody really tried to kill each other or hurt each other, but we were raised to be tough. And I'm not saying that we were raised entirely the right way insofar as some of our toys, easy bake ovens and things like that, fireworks. I mean, everybody played with fireworks, and my brothers worked when they got to work, and they would save money and buy old jalopies, and a bunch of their friends would go and have demolition derbies where literally the cars would land on top of each other out in a field. We did some crazy stuff, but it was all in good fun. And safety, yeah, we could have been a little safer. Our parents didn't exactly know what we were up to, or they probably wouldn't have approved. But we were also raised with manners. We were raised to care for each other. We had an immense loyalty for each other. And we took care of each other, and we took care of the underdog. And that's one thing that's sorely missing in society. And we learned to stick up for ourselves. We have lost that as a country. And I'm hoping that we'll get some of that back. I'd like to see people rediscover being outside all day and off of their computers and off of their phones, enjoying nature while having fun, being creative, inventing their own games outside, and spending time with their friends and doing all the good stuff that we did as kids. But because the generations after us were not raised that way, we've got a society that's soft, and it carries through up into our government. And like some of the clips before that I played clearly emanate with the situation in Worcester, for example, we've lost masculinity and femininity. And that's one thing that I was raised with, as well as having the freedom to go out and play with my friends and do different things. I was also raised with a love for books. I was a very avid reader, and I was raised to be able to set a 5-course place setting, and be able to act comfortably in different social circles, so that whether or not my grandparents brought me to a wedding or a funeral or a high society event or just a gathering with family, I knew how to behave in every different social setting and in every scenario. And I was raised to conduct myself as a lady above all, irregardless of the situation around me. And I was also taught to defend myself and how to protect myself. And we were all raised to shoot and to hunt and be responsible with firearms at a very early age. Most kids brought guns to school, shotguns in the backs of their pickup trucks, because they lived on farms and they had to protect their livestock, or they had gone hunting before school or were going to go hunting after school. And there were no school shootings as a result, because teachers even carried guns to schools in some cases. So it was a very different environment. And with this trickle-down society that we've raised, we also see this in politics. We see a lack of masculinity and a lack of true femininity, I think, not only culturally, but I see it most notably in the public forum on the governmental level with the change in administration. When I look at this more classic style administration and their morals and values that they bring to the table, I'm so proud of that. It's been sorely lacking for many years in the White House, in my opinion. The First Lady dresses with taste and with class, and she is truly a lady. And Trump is a man of authority. He's a person of power, and he doesn't act like a sissy. And I feel like that's a positive thing that this country has been sorely lacking and really needed. The Democrats have not elicited femininity and masculinity at all, as far as I'm concerned, the last several years. Let's listen to this clip.
Who is the most masculine Democrat right now in America?
And there's
Mayor Pete.
Is that a gay joke?
No, Mayor Pete. No, well, no, it's just that he's not particularly masculine. Nobody's like, oh, Mayor Pete, he's a badass. Chuck Schumer. Is anybody like, hey, Chuck Schumer holding up an avocado and a beer to talk about the Super Bowl? Is anybody like that trying to grill? Is anybody like, hey, that's a dude I want to hang out with?
But Trump's like a grandpa.
Well, hold on. Yeah. Trump took a bullet in his ear and immediately stood up and said, fight, fight, fight. Every man in America and most of the women out here were impressed by that, even if the women won't admit it. She's shaking her head strong.
So there, yeah, I think that's what this country has been missing and looking forward to, is a decisive leader, somebody that shows courage and strength, and a first lady that actually is a woman biologically and acts like one, and the classiness has returned to the White House. So Gen Xers, people of my generation and the ones that precede me, and hopefully the younger people after me, my children's age and what would be my grandchildren's age had I had grandchildren, which I don't yet. I'm looking forward to that at some point, but I feel I'm a little too young to be a grandma yet. So, but hopefully they learn from example and they start to emanate some of these qualities, and we get back to a more traditional role and lifestyle. I feel that that's where we will be most successful, when we get rid of all of this craziness and people stop with the, well, my feelings are hurt and you hurt my feelings over this and that, and I cut my finger on a piece of paper and so I need to go to the emergency room or call in sick. We need to develop that fortitude again that we were raised with, because that's what's going to help us get through some of the tougher times ahead. And I think it's going to send a clear message to those in power that think that we are not going to stand up for what's right and do the right thing. That's one thing about our generation, is that we will fight for what's right and take care of those that are weaker than us. I'm going to give you a humorous clip here. They're talking about coming out with the Goonies Part 2. Are you kidding me? A cult classic that we were raised with. How could you possibly improve upon the Goonies?
All right, Hollywood, let's get something clear. You've screwed up a lot of things over the last several years, and Gen Xers have largely just done what we always do. We ignore you, or we sit at the back and mock you relentlessly. Occasionally, when we've been very upset, we've sent you emissaries like Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic in order to express our displeasure. But now you've crossed the line. If you screw up Goonies, I can promise you that with zero coordination, an army of Gen Xers will immediately pull out their least favorite baseball card, put it in the spokes of their BMX bikes, fill up a backpack full of Hostess cupcakes, grab their granddaddy's old World War II canteen and fill it up with water from the hose, and ride like the wind to seek furious retribution. Oh yeah, you think people were willing to do crazy, brave things for Frodo? Wait until you see what we're ready to do for Sloth. Because Sloth loves Chunk, and we love Sloth. And if you screw this up, we're coming for you.
Don't mess with the Goonies. We're over time for a break. We are totally listener funded. Please support the network. You can reach me for all your spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional needs at Maggie, MAGGIE _Heart, HEART at Outlook.com. My entry and exit music, and a lot of times my break music, is provided by my good buddy Pat Carr. Please support his music and tell him Maggie sent you. Buy his albums and send him an email. Tell him how much you like his stuff. You can reach him at http://www.itunes.com/Pat Carr. We'll be back after the break to talk about Trump's plane getting dissed and the healing properties of water. While I haven't addressed the Super Bowl at all, I thought I'd play a song about Taylor Swift. Stay tuned, folks. Thanks for listening. We'll be back after this.
Taylor, it's done. Just thought I'd check in. I know that you're not used to being on the losing side. You should have voted more like Patrick's wife. Shut up, Brittany. Make no mistake, Travis is secretly happy. His brother too, albeit a little snappy, smashed the phone. It sucks to have your fuse publicly blown. I don't blame you, Kels. Oh, this could come as a shocker, but I do love women. How'd you think I managed to secure the finest one? You need to step outside your bubble, take a big old whiff of dawn. Oh, Taylor, don't you feel silly? Falling for the blatant lies, Kamala trick you with shit pouring out her eyes. I'll be the president, you'll be a singer. Here's a Trump story, pardon this finger.
And we are back. Thank you for joining me for the second half of the Positude Podcast. I'm your host, Maggie Heart. So before the break, we talked about a little bit of politics and some comedy, some music, Gen X, and we were talking about respect. It seems as though a pilot who was on the runway and was supposed to wait for Trump's plane to take off took it upon himself to jump ahead and show some disrespect to our president. I wonder how Trump dealt with that situation, or if he was even aware, but let's listen to this clip.
Aircraft hold position, VIP aircraft on airport grounds. Oh, come on, we're ready to wait. Spirit 905, where are you going? Orlando.
can't do that. You have to wait for the VIP aircraft.
Yeah, we ain't got time for this.
Never ground a spirit flight.
I wonder if that guy was a Gen Xer and what repercussions, if any, he's going to face. Before we get into our water discussion, I used to do a question of the week or something to thought-provoke you, and I'd like to get back on that as time allows each week. This week's question: what is your favorite way to support and uplift your friends? What is it that you do to make your friends and loved ones feel special? Something to think about. All right, let's talk about water. I've been on a mission to help you find natural ways to help yourselves. And because everything is so expensive nowadays, I'm looking for ways that we can improve our health that doesn't cost a lot of money, but that will be extremely beneficial. Pure air, pure water, and pure food are three things that our body requires in order to maintain our health, but also combat what's being thrown at us now in the form of chemtrails and shedding from people who have taken the jab, and also to help people that have taken the jab to clear their bodies. We also need to be able to find a way to recoup from all of the poisons that we put into our bodies voluntarily for years, although in some capacity unknowingly, by the way of the foods that we've eaten and the GMOs and the toxins in our foods, but also our water. Kennedy made a great play back in January when he said that as of January 20th, all of the townships and counties and cities had to remove fluoride from the water. But fluoride isn't the only toxin in our water. And for those of us that rely on wells for water, there are inorganic materials and even Brita filters like the one that I use, the high-speed one that gets rid of iron, doesn't filter out all of the inorganic materials that aren't good for our body. Why? Because they can form calcification in our arteries and clog our arteries. That's why so many of us have issues with hardened arteries and subsequently heart issues, is because of the calcification that has happened inside of us because of the foods that we ate and the water that we've drank. And if you're on city or town water, it's even more of an issue because of all the other toxins that they're putting in the water to purify it. What I've discovered in my research is things like brain fog, memory issues, recall issues, things that I've been talking about for several months as a result of the chemtrails and the shedding, and especially for those that have taken the jab, is that water is one of the simplest ways to purify the system of some of these issues. And not only that, but if we're not drinking enough water, that also can cause brain fog and memory issues. And essentially what happens is if we're not drinking the right kind of water, our body becomes fossilized. That is where the term comes from, fossil, that people use when they refer to an older person. Oh, that old fossil? Well, the term came about because as you age, your body truly can become fossilized and calcified. Your arteries become harder. Paul Bragg and his daughter Patricia of Bragg's Organic Apple Cider Vinegar fame had been doing research for many years regarding different holistic healing methods, and one of the things that they actually wrote 2 books on were the healing properties of water. His book was entitled The Shocking Truth About Water, and then Patricia took that book and added to it and wrote a book called Water, The Shocking Truth That Can Save Your Life. It's still in publication today. And he insisted that the only water that was truly beneficial for the body was distilled water. And he cites a lot of research that seems to prove his theories. This guy has coached, when he was alive, coached movie stars and health nuts and athletes. He developed a really big name for himself helping people holistically heal. as I cross-reference his work to other books that I've studied, some people do agree with the steam distillation process, and they say that distilled water is the best way to go. But others also feel that reverse osmosis water is another really good source. And some people say that the reverse osmosis is better than steam distillation. But one thing that I learned is that the water filters that I've been using, the Brita filters, even the high-speed ones that get out the iron, when I compare them across the graph and the charts that he provides, or actually Patricia provides in her books, they do almost nothing in comparison to either the reverse osmosis or the steam distillation methods. Those two get out a whole lot more, like almost all of the harmful components, when in comparison to the regular carbon filters that we typically would use today. What are called sediment filters are virtually useless. We might as well toss those in the garbage if we have those. Being gifted, one of the things that I've felt for years was that when I took a shower in a city water environment, that I just didn't feel as clean and I didn't feel as energized as I had when I took a shower in my well water home, or most especially when I took a bath in a running natural stream. That is the most absolute, cleanest, best that I've ever felt in my life afterward. And it's done not only something for, I feel, my physical body, but my mental capacity as well. You just feel so much better when you're able to take a bath in a running natural body of water, a clear, clean body of water. But for years, my friends have thought that I was crazy when I told them I just don't feel right when I take a shower in city water. And this book actually proves what I felt for years. This is from Patricia's book. You get more toxic exposure from taking a shower than from drinking the same water. Two highly volatile and toxic chemicals, trichloroethylene and toxic chloroform, have been proven as contaminants and are in most municipal drinking water supplies. The Great National Academy of Sciences has estimated that 200 to 1,000 people die in the U.S. each year from the cancers caused largely by ingesting water pollutants from inhalation as air pollutants in the home. Inhalation exposure to water pollutants has been largely ignored. Data indicates that hot showers can liberate about 50% of the chloroform and 80% of the trichloroethylene into the air. Tests show that your body can absorb more toxic chlorine as a result of a 10-minute shower than if you drank 8 glasses of the same water. How can that be? A warm shower opens up your pores, causing your skin to act like a sponge. As a result, you not only inhale the chlorine vapors, you absorb them through your skin directly into your bloodstream at a rate that's up to 6 times higher than if you were directly drinking it. In terms of cumulative damage to your health, showering in chlorinated water is one of the most dangerous risks that you take daily. Short-term risks include eyes, sinuses, throat, skin and lung irritation. Long-term risks include excessive free radical formation that ages you faster, higher vulnerability to genetic mutation and cancer development, difficulty metabolizing cholesterol, which can cause hardened arteries. 5 hidden dangers in your shower are chlorine. Added to all municipal water supplies, this disinfectant hardens arteries, destroys proteins in the body, irritates skin and sinus conditions, and aggravates any asthma, allergies, and respiratory problems. Chloroform. This powerful byproduct of chlorination causes excessive free radical formation, accelerated aging, normal cells to mutate, and cholesterol to form. Chlorine is a known carcinogen. Guard and protect your precious body. DCA, dichloroacetic acid. This chlorine byproduct alters cholesterol metabolism and has been shown to cause liver cancer in lab animals. MX, another chlorinated acid, is another byproduct of chlorination. MX is known to cause genetic mutations that can lead to cancer growth and has been found in all chlorinated water for which it was tested, and proven cause of bladder and rectal cancer. Research proved that chlorinated water is the direct cause of 9% of all U.S. bladder cancers and 15% of all rectal cancers. Anderson of New Scientist says taking long hot showers is a health risk according to the latest research. Showers, and to a lesser extent baths, lead to a greater exposure to toxic chemicals contained in water supplies than does drinking the water. These toxic chemicals evaporate out of the water and are inhaled. They can also spread through the house and be inhaled by others. People get 6 to 100 times more chemicals by breathing the air while taking showers and baths than they would by drinking the water. This is why on previous shows I talked about filters on your shower heads. The most effective method of removing these hazards from your shower is the quick and easy installation of a filter on your shower arm. The filter that they found to be the best removed chlorine, lead, mercury, iron, chlorine byproducts, arsenic, hydrogen sulfide, and many other unseen contaminants such as bacteria, fungi, dirt, and sediments, and had a 12 to 18 month filter lifespan. The filter can be easily changed by backwashing and replacing when needed. Now that's just from our shower and not what we're drinking, but also when we consider what's coming down in the form of rain based on the chemtrails that they're spraying. Skin absorbs water, toxins, and all from the American Journal of Public Health. Compared with its absorption through the respiratory system, skin absorption could be the major route of penetration into the body. Skin penetration rates have been found to be remarkably high, and the outer layer of skin is a less effective barrier to penetration than traditionally assumed. Factors affecting absorption are hydration, temperature, skin condition, regional variability, and other routes of entry. Hydration: the more hydrated the skin, the greater the absorption. If the skin is hydrated through perspiration or immersion in water, or if the contaminant compounds are in solution, diffusion and penetration will be enhanced. Temperature: increased skin or water temperature will enhance skin absorption capacity proportionately. During swimming and bathing, it may be expected that greater hydration of skin surfaces will take place. Skin condition: any insult, i.e. sunburn, or injury, i.e. cuts, wounds, or abrasions to the skin, will lower its ability to act as a barrier against foreign substances. A history of skin disease, such as psoriasis or eczema, acts to lower the natural barrier of the outer skin layer, as do rashes, dermatitis, or any chronic skin condition. Regional variability: skin absorption rates vary within the different regions of the body. Underestimated is the case of whole body immersion during swimming or bathing. The epidermis of the hand represents a relatively greater barrier to the penetration than many other parts of the body, including the scalp, forehead, abdomen, area in and around the ears, the underarms, and the genital area. Penetration through the genital area is estimated to be 100%, but only 8.6% for the forearm. Other routes of entry. Other significant routes of absorption include oral, nasal, cheeks and mouth cavity, and eye and ear areas. These routes have been underestimated in their ability to absorb contaminants during immersion in water. Inhalation serves as yet another route. In the case of swimming or bathing, the volatilized chemicals are likely to gather near the water surface and then are more readily inhalable. In addition, some of the water may be swallowed in these situations. We also know that the right kind of water can flush toxins out of the body. One of the most important functions of water is to flush the toxins and salt from the body. So aside all of the recent trends to take particular kinds of salt to help protect your body, he claimed years ago that salt is no good for the body at all, and that your body can absorb all of the nutrients that you need, the natural salts that you need for your body, not the man-made salts, through eating the right fruits and vegetables. And he's a big advocate for juicing. He says that juicing and eating fresh fruits and vegetables provides water to our body in the purest form. He says the raw juices of fruit and vegetables are internal cleansers and blood purifiers. This is what we call the waters of perpetual health and youthfulness. The rays of the sun send billions of atoms into plant life. We can use this solar energy to attain vigorous health unlimited vitality, and physical endurance. This sun energy in fruits and vegetables can fight the accumulation of inorganic minerals and toxic poisons you have allowed to be deposited in your body. Fruit and vegetable juices are the natural detergents for the human body. Try to get a quart or more of solar energized, fresh squeezed fruit and vegetable juices into your body every day. Go to your health store and purchase a juicer and blender. Both of these appliances are important to your program of ridding the body of inorganic minerals and toxic wastes. It will be probably the best investment you have ever made in your entire life. With the juicer, you can have many varieties of juices. He also says fruit juices play an important role in building a clean body and bloodstream. Apple juice, pineapple juice, cherry juice, blackberry juice, orange juice, grapefruit juice, prune juice, apricot juice, strawberry juice. These are the true nectar of the gods. Of course, you want to make sure that nowadays you buy organic fruit to make your juice. Because we're made up of between 65 and 70% water, these juices will give us the natural water and the natural vitamins and minerals that we need to keep our bodies healthy. In conjunction with either the distilled or the ionized water that we drink as the best alternatives to filtered water. People who drink the right kind and the right amount of liquids, distilled water, fresh fruits and vegetables, and their juices have better circulation, which is most important to super health and long life. In my personal opinion, he says, I think the right kind of water helps improve your mind and brain power, and I really think it makes you think more accurately and better. You have 15 billion powerful brain cells, which are 70% water. I further think that the excessively nervous person and or the mentally upset person is so obsessed with his own worries and hang-ups that he just forgets to drink water and liquids of the right kind. Instead, he dopes himself up on alcohol, tea, coffee, and cola drinks, and thus complicates his nervous condition by burning toxic acid forms in the stomach with no food or water to dilute it. So on top of his nervousness and depression, he suffers from sour acid stomach, heartburn, gas bloat, and other miseries. He says that the nerves need the correct amount of water to function properly and smoothly. You can plainly see that it is possible to suffer from water starvation. Symptoms of mild dehydration, they are increased thirst, dry mouth, lips, and tongue, reduced urine output, dark-colored urine, fatigue and headache, moderate dehydration, dizziness or lightheadedness, confusion, sunken eyes, muscle cramps, and rapid heart rate. Severe dehydration, rapid heartbeat and breathing, low blood pressure, seizures, coma, and death. Additional symptoms include constipation, irritability, and poor concentration. It's important to note that these symptoms can also be caused by other conditions, but those are symptoms related to dehydration. There is so much more knowledge in these books. I recommend that you all check them out. Drink the right kind of water, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks for listening.